Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is Thomas, and welcome to the Post Race Inspection Podcast. Denny Hamlin delivers, grabs his 61st win. That is now 10th all time, breaking the tiebreaker with Kevin Harvick. Um, Man, who would have thought? How did I not have him on my prediction list? Because he literally won Vegas last fall for his 60th win. But we're gonna talk briefly about the race. This will be a short one. As you can probably tell, it's a little echoey in here because this is actually a completely new room. I just moved into my new house this past weekend, and we're still getting everything set up. So that's why there's a lot of reverb. But I digress. We're gonna be talking about Vegas for a little bit. We're gonna be talking about the throwback weekend and kind of a Darlington prediction, wearing the Biff shirt, Greg Biffle National Guard shirt, in celebration of Throwback Weekend. And we're gonna check out. We're gonna talk about the fight and then also Daniel Dye. So it'll be a short one. I'm busy. I got stuff to do. So let's just get right into it. So Denny dominates, delivers his 61st win. He had the best car all day, except for I think it was stage two, where because obviously the big hitters at Vegas, the guys who always run up front, were up front at Vegas. So Bell, Larson, Ty Gibbs, Denny Hamlin. He led a lot of laps. Um, Bubba, Byron. It was actually a really good day for RFK racing because if we check the race results, we had Busher come home in sixth. We had Brad in 10th and Ryan Preece in 11th. Great day for RFK. I'm really hoping to see if they can keep that momentum going into following weeks. At the end of stage one, it was Hamlin. Um, Hamlin was third. I think it was just pit cycle that had him, surrender the lead there. Stage two, he had a good car, but he was complaining about being loose, and I guess there was some sort of miscommunication because they actually went farther away during the adjustment. They adjusted the car farther away from what Hamlin wanted by accident, so he ended up only falling back to fifth. That's just how good of a car he had, where it was ill handling, but it's still top five speed. And then um, Hamlin had the fastest lap in stage three and, basically ran away with it. Chase Elliott did. He was creeping on up from his 15th starting position, but really, he had 2 seconds over 10 laps to catch Hamlin, and he got a second and a half out of it, but I think it was just Hamlin managing his tires. It really didn't seem like Hamlin was challenged at any point aside from when they got the setup wrong or got the adjustment to the setup wrong. Um, let's take a look at the points for Cup Series. So Tyler Reddick's points lead shrinks a little bit. He has 255 points. Bubba now has, I think that's 59 points less than him. He regains the second position in points. Blaney drops back down to third after kind of a lackluster day by Team Penske as a whole. This is usually one of their best tracks. So I would have expected them to, both, if not all three of the Penske cars to be up there in the top 10 throughout the whole day. But yeah, I'm not really sure about that. Um, Hamlin wins, gets, I think, 13 stage points. So he jumps up from 12th to 4th. And, Larson, Byron, Gibbs having good days. Ty Gibbs has had a really good month since the lawsuit has started, um, with JGR and Chris Gabehart. He went from, I think it was 30th in points to now he's 10th. and he's had like 3 straight top tens. Logano, didn't have a good day, dropped 4 spots. I think they just completely missed the setup there. Brad and Priest have good days. They move from the cut line to 12th and 13th. McDowell, Hocevar, and SVG had a really bad day. There were no DNFs this whole race. SVG finished dead last. He finished 36th. So that dropped him from 5th to 16th in points. Just like that. Crazy. Crazy how close like really like third through 20th are. They're all within a race's worth of points still. So, you can't win the championship in the first month or so, but you can certainly lose it. So, we're looking to see if Shane can hold on to a chase spot as we get into the spring months here. There are a couple of road courses coming up, but there's also a couple of tracks that he's really not good at, such as Darlington this weekend. Um, More notable, Connor Zilic actually drops another spot to 35th in points. Through, I believe this is what, 5 races? Let's see. Through 5 races, Connor Zilic has averaged 10 points a race. So he was, I think, he was the only yellow flag that was not a stage, because I don't know, it's not clear on whether or not Stenhouse put his hand to indicate that he was pitting, but on the final pit cycle in stage 3, Zilic was on the bottom lane, and then Stenhouse slowed right up, and Zilic plowed into him. So, literally every single race he's been getting caught up in someone else's funny business. This one was I would say it's kind of his fault. He's the car behind. He should have known, if the spotter should have made sure as well. But that's just a bad racing deal if he actually did not know that Stenhouse was coming into pit. But still, really disappointing start to the year for Zilic, who I had, fringe chase pick, like, 14th through 17th. So just really disappointing to see from there. So let's one thing that came out of this race was the continued frustration between former teammates Daniel Suarez and Trackhouse. So they made contact a couple of times during the race and post-race. So here is where this is 2 to go. They're going down the backstretch. They're coming out of turn 2. It seems like Suarez, loses the car a little bit and goes up a half lane into Chastain. I guess he wasn't happy about it because on the cooldown lap, Chastain bumped into Suarez going down the backstretch. And then they had a discussion outside of the car, and I will mute my microphone so you guys can listen in. So, Suarez said this. He's always been weird, a little two-faced. He also commented that I guess I'll just let Noah from Front Stretch I'll let the clip speak for itself here.
What happened post race between you and Ross? We got together a little bit in corner two, and he was mad about. Did you guys have had a conversation? Obviously, what was the conversation? I was having a conversation, and he was always spin out. He just said or something. I mean, for some reason, our relationship has been always very weird, almost like a little bit of two-faced of his part for some reason. And today I saw actually what I thought he had in his mind for a while. But I mean, I don't have any hard feelings to anyone. I'm doing my thing, having a great time. And but he just saw that he thinks that way. But listen, at the end of the day, you know, it's not my first rodeo. You know, I have had to go through a lot to be.
So, what he said was kind of revealed to him. His Chastain's true feelings about Suarez was, I'm not sure if you guys were able to hear it in the first clip of Suarez confronting Chastain at his car at the end of the race, but Chastain said one of the only things that can barely be made out from the HBO onboard footage was, "You got fired." Um, obviously a little bit of animosity. So yeah. Ross did Ross did during an interview or during press time responded to the whole situation, and I'll play that now. This is Matt Weaver's clip.
Yeah, in the moment, I definitely was hot and angry and would do things different if I had time to think about it. And um, yeah, definitely would not have swerved into him after the race. I didn't mean to. I would do that different if I could go back, and then I wouldn't shove him for sure. I just was over the conversation that he was trying to have, wanted him to leave, asked him to leave, and he didn't leave, and back up. Was too close and just didn't want to hear anything else he was saying because he wasn't taking any accountability. And I wanted him to. I've known Daniel now for a long time and have lived it inside of our four walls that there's, in my opinion, not enough accountability, and there wasn't post race. And in the heat of the moment, I reacted definitely worse. Had just a few minutes to calm down, getting out of the car. Definitely a day of struggling through the mid-teens when we expect the one car is.
So I'll stop it there. You can watch the full clip on Twitter, or X, as they like to say. Just really interesting to see this continued struggle with Trackhouse, or between Suarez and Trackhouse. There was definitely some hard feelings during Suarez's exit by the sound of it. Maybe not between the organization, but between the drivers. So, really interesting to see what comes out of this. Suarez said that he specifically didn't want to fight because he didn't want to get a $50,000 fine, as he put it. And I did see Stenhouse replied on Twitter to him. It says 75,000 with an asterisk beside it. So, yeah. Another thing that happened this week was this interesting happening during a Whatnot NASCAR card pack opening stream with Brent Cruz and Daniel Dye. So Daniel Dye has been suspended for what he said on this clip, suspended indefinitely by both NASCAR and Colleague, and he has to undergo sensitivity training for this. So I'll let the clip play, but yeah, I'll give my comments after. I'll let the clip play.
Ow. That's four slow emojis.
Have a break, Luke Fenhaas.
Have a break, David Maluka.
David Malove ass. Sorry. Yes, Queen.
Are you going to sleeve it?
I would love to slave it. Always gotta slave it.
The 41 viewers in here definitely enjoy it.
Love to slave it. Gotta slave it.
Would you rather sleeve it or get sleeved?
If I'm David Malukas, I'd rather get slaved.
What about a Fernando Von? Much more.
Oh my gosh, Roger. Roger. Stop it,
Who is
Roger.
Gabe owners?
That's our DoorDasher.
So he also made comments about not knowing who David Malukas was when he met him. For those who don't know, David Malukas is the basically the replacement for Will Power at Team Penske in the IndyCar series. One of the most skilled and talented young drivers in the IndyCar series. And just very classless by Daniel Dye. I mean, making fun of, like, I'm not one to, like, ban any insensitive humor or anything like that, but at least make your humor funny, because it just wasn't funny. Like, I don't know. I just didn't find it humorous at all, and neither did Colleague Racing, nor did NASCAR, because he has been suspended for it. He's going to miss. Colleague said he's going to miss at least Darlington this weekend, and he's going to maybe miss Rockingham in a couple of weeks. So we'll see what comes out of that. Do I believe that those comments were worthy of him getting suspended? No. I mean, it's a little soft, but I get it. The previous precedents for anything like this is, don't want you just don't want a driver who is representing a huge brand like Ram to be saying stuff like this, especially about questioning someone's sexuality, or just making fun of how they talk, especially when Daniel was driving a stop suicide truck. So a little tone deaf by him, I would say, at the least. But yeah, we'll see what comes out of that. I guess before we get into my predictions for Darlington this weekend, I do want to say, please like and subscribe to the video. Just gonna be a short one, only gonna be here a little bit longer. Gonna do the predictions, and then we're also gonna take a look at the throwbacks for all three series as of the ones that have been released this morning. So let's just get right into it. So my predictions last week, I had Logano, Blaney, Bubba, and Larson. Of course, I went 0 for 4 in those predictions. I don't know why I didn't choose Hamlin. He won in October. I don't know. But that drops my P1 pick percentage down to 40%. So I've gotten 2 of the 5 right, 2 of the 5 winners right so far. Like I said, over 4 in my pick percentage this week, which drops my top 4 pick percentage down to 30%. Looking to get it up this weekend though at Darlington. My 4 picks are Hamlin, Briscoe, Larson, and Jones. So Hamlin, this has historically been one of his best tracks. He is, if it wasn't apparent at Vegas, he's one of the best guys at managing his tires. Reddick was my fringe top 5 pick because he is so fast lately, and there's a good chance that either him or Blaney would have won last year if it wasn't for Larson hitting the wall off of 4 and spinning out. So, or was that a couple of years ago? Can't remember. It was either last year or 2 years ago. I digress. No, it was last year. Briscoe, this is his. I'm pretty sure this is his best track. And he has the highest average finish out of anyone at this track. Larson, Wheelman, he will probably have the fastest lap. He's in my pick to win top 4, but I see him getting second or third, realistically. Now my little fringe pick for 4th, my surprise winner, instead of going safe with Reddick or Blaney, I'm gonna go with that Jones boy. So this is Eric Jones' best track by far, especially Legacy Motor Club's best track. So it's going to be really interesting to see what he can do this weekend. So let's get into the throwbacks. I'll start off with the Cup Series. And to start it off, we have maybe the best throwback this whole weekend. I know it's really overdone. This Dale Earnhardt Wrangler Jeans Machine Bud Moore Racing year, I think, is 72 or 1982, not 72. Carson Hocevar and Chili's are going to run the 82 paint scheme. The Intimidente. So everyone is shocked, and they're also saying that this might be the best one because the door numbers are way more centered. I think it's just because the numbers are so big. They have to extend them out towards the back of the side panel or towards the back of the door. But it makes them look centered and looks fantastic. Another pair of throwbacks. This one's kind of I'll cover it when I get to the O'Reilly series. But oh wait, this is 2025. Never mind. Front Row Motorsports has a couple of really slick throwbacks. Zane Smith is going to be running a throwback to Elliott Sadler's 2000 Citgo Motorcraft Ford Taurus that he ran with the Wood brothers. And so he has Mystic lubricants on the side of this. And I love that Mystic kind of made, they made a really good attempt. They changed the lettering style for the numbers, but they didn't exactly, obviously Mystic's logo is a little hard to make match with Citgo's. But I do appreciate that they at least boxed it in the white. Makes it look really good. The 34 car, Todd Gilliland, he's running a beautiful looking Rudabush throwback to Bill Elliott's Ford Thunderbird, the Coors Thunderbird. He's got everyone thought that, or a couple of people thought that the number was black, which didn't make a lot of sense, but if you actually look closely down there, it is gold foil, just like how the old number used to be. So looks great. I can't wait to see that gold pop in real life. Now, Legacy Motor Club, they're also they're running a throwback on the 43 car. I think the Dollar Tree car is just the standard Dollar Tree car. But the 43 is throwing back to Richard Petty's STP scheme. Of course, it's Also one that Wally Dallenbach Jr. drove in 1992 for Petty Enterprises. So RFK Racing, I'm sure, 250,000 people have seen this one on Twitter. You must be living under a rock if you haven't seen this, but they were one of the first people or one of the first teams to announce their throwback design. It was a few weeks ago, but they're throwing it back to 2009 with Greg Biffle's different 3M schemes that he ran throughout the year. So I think the top one is the Scotch green tape. The blue is Post-it, and then the red one is the classic 3M logo. Just beautiful looking cars. I wish that they would have done different ones instead of just having all three in the same color, but regardless, it still looks fantastic with the the stylized numbers matching the Biffle number font. Just looks great. Now let's move on to the O'Reilly series. So Garrett Smithley, this has been revealed in its full form since, but he's thrown it back to 10 years ago with the bright red Flex Seal car. I think it's night fire protection that's going to be on the front and sides of this car, and just I always remember these cars for being very colorful and being able to spot them real easy with that neon yellow number on the fire truck red doors. So interesting to see what he can do at Darlington this weekend with this car. Alpha Prime Racing. So LeVar Scott, that Sunoco car they just revealed looks beautiful, but it's not a throwback. Brennan Poole's number 44 CW and Sons car looks fantastic. Obviously, it's throwing back to the very car that's on the back of my shirt. So the Biffle National Guard car. I love that CW Sons and Clark's Directional Boring were able to completely change their logos, and that they were able to use the stylized font for the 44. Now, another one doing a Greg Biffle throwback, and this one looks excellent. It looks excellent, is Dean Thompson driving the number 26 TPG car, and they made all of the contingency decals match. They made them true to character. TPG changed their logo to the 3M font. It's perfect. It's perfect. I think this one might be my favorite throwback of the weekend. It's just so well done. If only it wasn't on a Supra, though. All right, now moving on to the trucks. There's not a lot this year. Obviously, it's not throwback weekend officially anymore, but it's now more of an alumni weekend. So, yeah, it's fine. At least the teams don't feel totally forced to at least they don't feel totally forced to play into the throwback weekend theme, and it still allows the teams that want to participate to really go all in, such as this Lucid Trading number 33 Dave Blaney car that Frankie Muniz is racing. This I think is my second favorite by a very close margin. This is Dave Blaney's Amoco scheme, and it's just beautiful. It's so well done. The font of the numbers was changed. Lucid Trading changed their logo to replicate the Amoco. You have the classic black with the red, white, and blue stripes going down the side. It's great. Now, Corey LaJoie driving for Ram in the All-Star truck, the number 25. He's going to throw it back to his father, Randy LaJoie, his 2004 Ram truck, and it looks pretty good. I wish that they could have changed the font of the 25, or at least changed the color of the number to be neon yellow rather than ram yellow, but it still looks pretty good as well. I thought it was a Casey Kane throwback at first, but then I, went and saw the original tweet from Colleague, and yeah, this is pretty clean. Ram is also throwing back with Butterbean Queens number 12 to the first ever wind tunnel designed IndyCar and the first and only diesel powered IndyCar to capture the pole for the Indy 500. So it's the Cummins Diesel Special. Looks pretty good. It translated. I honestly think it looks better on the truck than it does on the original car. So looks pretty good. Daniel Dye, obviously, not going to be racing this weekend. So AJ Allmendinger is going to be driving the number 10 truck, and it is a throwback to the classic late 90s Mopar Dodge truck that ran in the Craftsman Truck Series. They made it look exactly like how it did, even with the old Chrysler logo and everything. So this is probably my favorite. No, it's probably my third favorite. I was about to say favorite truck design, but this one is really close with the Amoco car. I think I might like this one more. Now, this one is kind of crazy. So, someone who also passed over this winter was Michael Annett. You know, the number 22 is throwing it back to his 2019 Daytona car, and it brings up a really interesting point that Junior Motorsports, you probably noticed there's no throwbacks. They're not running any, and they have five or six cars entered for this Saturday's race. Really disappointing. Junior actually commented on his podcast that he was upset that they weren't running throwbacks this year. So really interesting. I don't know why Junior wouldn't just take over that, but I guess if sponsors don't want to participate in it, or if they're gonna half-ass it, what's the point? Like Chase Elliott's UniFirst car, the Kodiak throwback. Tricon Garage is throwing back the number 11 with Johnny Benson's 2008 Toyota Tundra. This is one of my favorite trucks from NASCAR 09. It was that and Mike Skinner's number 5 Toyota Tundra, like the Toyota sponsored Tundra. My favorite trucks, 2 of my favorite trucks of all time. So really cool to see this one finally get a tribute for it. And I think this is the last one, or the last 2. Yeah. So the number 14, I think Ram is doing a full lineup of throwback trucks. Mini Terrell is going to be throwing back to their 2002 just standard Dodge Ram livery, very similar to the Evernham Motorsports number 9 that ran way back then, just the plain 9. Very clean. I love the red. I just love plain schemes, there's something when a plain scheme just is well done, it's clean, it's some of the nicest schemes ever. And I think rounding out our throwbacks list, Gio Ruggiero is throwing it back to Darrell Waltrip when he owned his own racing team. Western Auto, this is First Auto Group. They actually were able to change, they changed their logo to look like the Western Auto logo. The 17 changed its number. Chrome numbers on it too. This thing's clean, man. Oh man, I really wish that more teams would go all in with it. It's not even the teams. It's not the team's fault. It's the sponsors. I wish more sponsors would be willing to go all in on the throwbacks. Moreover, I wish that teams would just have their cars just have iconic designs in the first place. Like, something like this, just classic flames would look so clean. I don't know why teams these days and sponsors are obsessed with the hyper edgy, like, fractal or like the hyper edgy, like, slash designs. It's just so overdone. It reminds me of the dark ages of NASCAR from like 5 years ago when every freaking car looked like that, and it was all some like business to business sponsor that you would never be buying unless you were a business owner. So I let's get back to iconic liveries, please. All right. So that'll be it. I swore it was going to be a shorter episode than this, but 36 minutes ain't that bad. This has been an episode of the Post Race Inspection Podcast. Thanks for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Appreciate it. See you guys next week after Darlington.